The Maddison-Richarlison debate goes on.
Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 14th episode of Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast. I'm your host, Geoff at Geoff Willis, and each week I'll be talking fantasy Premier League football. You can find the show on a whole host of podcast services. Just search Captain's Pick. You can also get the podcast on the YouTube channel Vilsey Podcasts. So please remember to subscribe, like and share. On today's show, I'll be reviewing my team's Game Week 11 performance, asking whether your captain's pick must come from Liverpool, talk transfers, and I'll finish off by previewing my squad's Game Week 12 fixtures. Okay, so gonna look at my Game Week 11 performance. Not dreadful, but not good. Very just meh. Total points of 51. Very close on a few incidents in the game week to be getting a lot more points and would have definitely got over 60, nearly to 70 if a few things had gone my way. I'll just go through my team and where the points came from and in what matches. So I had 2 points from my goalkeeper Foster, who was in the game against Newcastle, 1-0 to Newcastle. Very unlucky here. I think Watford played pretty decent on the highlights. Were unlucky not to do better in the match. Disappointed not to get the clean sheet. I thought it'd be pretty tight. I didn't think I could see Newcastle scoring too many. Just got the one goal there. Next up, Robertson, who I didn't think I would particularly get a clean sheet. It was an outside chance, and Arsenal did only score in the last few minutes of the game, so that was a little bit disappointing. Also had Salah playing in this game. 2 points from him. Had a few chances. Definitely thought he could have scored a few more points. Glad I didn't captain him. Just didn't think that was the right move. I had Alexander-Arnold, who I kept on my bench. I didn't think he would play, but Klopp fooled us all, and he did start. So he stayed on my bench. Obviously, if Liverpool had got a clean sheet, I would have had clean sheet points on my bench because he wouldn't have come into my team. So would rather have the clean sheet, of course, and Robson got the points, but there we go. So he stayed on my bench and had 2 points. Next up in my defence, I had Alonso, who got me an assist and 1 bonus point. No clean sheet, so he got 6 points. Again, disappointing not to get that clean sheet. Chelsea were excellent in their home win, 3-1 against Palace. Some slightly dodgy defending got that clean sheet in, so that was disappointing. I thought the clean sheet was there for the taking, and I'm sure Alonso would have got even more bonus points there, but happy to get that assist, and that definitely helped out my game week. Of course, in that match I had Hazard, who didn't start. Only played 26 minutes, but got an assist, so he got me 4 points. Should have got another assist. Morata should have finished and got his hat-trick right at the end, so missed out on assist and maybe a bonus point there from him. Obviously disappointed I got him in 2 weeks ago on my wild card. He's only played 26 minutes for 4 points. Sure he's going to do great this weekend coming, and of course I put him in my team instead of Richarlison, who scored 20 points in that time, so I'm 16 points down on that, but I'm hoping this weekend they play each other. There's a doubt on Richarlison whether he plays, so be nice for Hazard to pick up those 16 points, and I'll be level on that deal. Moving on to Man City, I had Mendy, who just got the 2 points. Again, thought they would smash Southampton. Did think it would be a similar result to Huddersfield earlier in the season, and it was 6-1 to City. No clean sheet, again, disappointing. There was definitely a clean sheet there to be had. Him and Alonso, 2 clean sheets there would have boosted my points up. And just a silly foul to give away from the goalkeeper. And not one, no assist points for Mendy as well. In a 6-1 performance, I would have thought there'd been guaranteed points, attacking points from him. So that was disappointment for me. But you've just got to have Man City players, and it's just trying to pick the right ones in the right week. But happy to have him, and he's starting. So, obviously in that match I also had Aguero, captained him, looked like that was the right decision for me. Well, it definitely was. He got me 26 points overall. He got bonus points, assists, and a goal. So, really happy to have made that captain decision correct. So I've only had one foul, and that was notoriously the Kane captaincy. Other than that, Salah at home, Aguero at home has worked for me every week, and can't complain at all. Great haul from him. Needed it in this game week because not too many other people performed. And lastly, in defence, I had Doherty. Again, watching back, had a few chances. Didn't think they'd have a clean sheet, but was close on a few occasions getting attacking returns. So the hunt for him to get me points continues. It's 3 blanks in a row. But one more tricky fixture, and then he's got 3 or 4 good fixtures in the next 5 to come. So looking at points from him in the near future. In my midfield, I decided to start Josh Murphy at Cardiff. Again, a strange game, that Cardiff-Leicester game. Thought it'd either be tight or it'd be goals galore. Obviously ended up being very tight. Leicester winning it 1-0. Not going to complain too much about this match. I think there's bigger things at play there. So, yeah, it is what it is. Obviously had Maddison playing in that game as well. He blanked. So that was 4 blanks in a row that he's been in my team. And now to finish that off, he's injured. So I was hoping just to give him one more game. Burnley at home seemed perfect. And then possibly transferring him out during the international break, depending on what he did in this game. And he obviously blanked and now he's injured against Burnley. So definitely a disappointing and frustrating time to have him in my squad for those game weeks. That will be basically 5 game weeks, 5 blanks. And the replacement could well be Richarlison to come back in. I've had him twice, sold him twice, and could be getting him in as a replacement. Although there is an injury doubt on him. So, yeah, it's a difficult situation. In that Everton game, they won 3-1 against Brighton. Richarlison getting 2 goals. 20 points from him in the last 2 game weeks where I haven't had him. They obviously play Chelsea this weekend, so not too bothered. I'm not going to bring him in for that game. There is an injury doubt, and it's not worth the -4 point hit. But after the international break, Everton have got Cardiff at home, so depending on price rise, price falls, hoping that could just be a straight swap, Richarlison to Maddison for that good home fixture, and that would be had him 3 times, sold him 3 times. Yeah, I don't know. It's It's a bit of a conundrum, the Richarlison one, but we'll see how that plays out. So that's the defensive midfield covered, and then the last game was that Monday night game. I had Mitrovic away to Huddersfield. Thought it'd be a decent game for him, and he was shocking. So were Fulham, and that's my Mitrovic spell in my team over and done with. 1 assist in those 3 games. Not good enough, and a bad call from me. Was obviously looking at bringing in Arnautovic after this Huddersfield game, and it looks like I should have probably brought him in before it, but there we are. It's another 50-50 gone against me. But we go on. Looking at some of the other fixtures, West Ham at home 4-2 to Burnley, great win for them. Arnautovic doing well, so that was good to see him before bringing him into my team. Man U away win, 2-1 against Bournemouth. Interested to see Martial start and score again. Also, Wilson carries on his good form. If I was looking to pick up an additional striker after Arnautovic, I'd definitely be looking at Wilson. He seems fairly fixture-proof at the moment. But I only got one spot for a striker, and that would be going to Arnautovic. And I think that's pretty much all the fixtures covered. I think Spurs looking decent. Obviously, that great away win against Wolves. Kane getting on the score sheet, just the one for him. So again, keeping a close eye on him and the rest of the Spurs players when the fixtures turn around game week 15. So that was my game week 11. 51 final points total. 1 below the average points, 52. And that brought me to overall points of 646 and an overall rank of 371k. So it was about a 100k drop over the 3 weeks from my wild card. It's a net gain still of 100k places, so not too disappointed. Still trying to obviously get into that top 100k. Not too far away, I don't think. I think it's very competitive, and one good game week can see you rise 100k. One okay game week can see you drop back down that 100k. So I think for me it's a bit more about consistency and trying to get decent scores each week. I seem to have one good game week, one okay game week, one good game week, one bad game week. So just trying to string a few good game weeks together, really, and I'm sure I can jump into that top 100k. Still doing well in my 2 friends and family mini leagues, to be fair. Second place in both of them. Still probably my best start to a Premier FPL season in terms of those mini leagues. So I can't complain too much. Just looking at keeping up a decent rate of points in each game week. That is the target. Okay, so looking forward to game week 12 and going to talk about transfers now. Obviously, on the pod last week, I said that I'd be bringing in Arnautovic for Mitrovic. Unfortunately, Mitrovic dropped a little bit earlier in that game week, which meant I couldn't do a direct replacement, which was disappointing. I did have 2-3 transfers coming into this game week. But I did want to just make one transfer, that be to Arnautovic, and then have 2 over the international break. But obviously I couldn't do that swap. My thinking then was possibly bring in Glenn Murray for the next few games, so Brighton have some decent fixtures. And Arnautovic, even though the next game against Huddersfield away, decent, but then they have Man City at home. And after that is the really great run of fixtures. So I thought I could go maybe Murray and then Arnautovic. But after that, hugely disappointing. Mitrovic fail and Arnautovic doing well on the weekend, the price rises just went a little bit crazy. Arnautovic was going up, Mitrovic was going down. I was going to be looking at maybe losing about 0.4 of a million in my team value, and I just wasn't willing to let that go. So Saturday night, before a lot of the price rises happened, I transferred out Mitrovic and I brought in Arnautovic, which meant I had to downgrade Josh Murphy to Camarasa of Cardiff. So it was annoying to use up both free transfers. At least I didn't take any hits. Of course, I'd rather not make early transfers like that. But in this instance, I just had to go for it. Arnautovic was the man I wanted and just had to bring him in. Obviously, that's slightly backfired because we heard in the Puel Leicester press conference yesterday that Maddison is injured for this game week. So could have potentially just downgraded him and brought in Arnautovic and a slightly better midfielder. But that's sometimes the luck. It's just not with you sometimes, and obviously the risk in taking early transfers. So they're the two transfers I've made, and Camarasa will actually start this weekend. Brighton at home, not too bad a fixture. I probably would have started Josh Murphy anyways. Looking at it, maybe during my wildcard I should have probably just brought in Camarasa instead of Josh Murphy, which would have gave me some money left in the bank, which means this week I could have just done straight swap Mitrovic for Arnautovic and then had two free transfers for the international break. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, and just feel like I keep making these sort of little mistakes every few weeks, and it's kind of costing me with my transfer policy, and seems to be halting my momentum each week. So definitely over the international break, going to just try and really figure out the transfer plan for the next few weeks. Try and stay with it. Obviously there's going to be injuries, but just trying to not pull the trigger on too many transfers and decisions that will later cost me. So they're the two transfers. Happy to have Arnautovic in, and Camarasa's very much an enabler. Wouldn't have been starting if Maddison hadn't got injured, but there we go. So looking at a captain's pick for this weekend, as I mentioned at the start of the show, does your captain's pick have to come from the Liverpool team? No, but their fixture against Fulham is so enticing for Liverpool players. Fulham have been woeful in general play, let alone at the back, one of the worst defences in the league. Liverpool obviously being one of the best attacking outfits in the league. If you've got Salah, I think you captain him. If you've got Mane, I think you captain him. If you've got both, then fantastic. Captain whoever you think is going to get the best. I can't see too many better options than Liverpool players as captains. Aguero at home to Man United. Okay, Aguero, great record at home. Man United haven't been great at the back, so there is potential there, of course, but I would say Man United are better and have a better defence than Fulham. Then the other captain's pick choice from that Man City game would be Sterling. But again, not the greatest record against the top big six teams, but I would just go back to Man United being a better outfit than Fulham. The next best candidacy I would probably say would be Eden Hazard. Chelsea have got Everton at home. Everton have been leaky at the back. Chelsea have been great going forward, especially at home. Hazard's had this niggly injury, back injury, but played 26 last week. In the Europa League last night, played 60 minutes, so barring any bad reactions from that, he should start and probably play the whole game. Could get a lot of points in that game. But again, I think I would just go back to comparing the oppositions and the fact that Fulham are a lot worse than Everton. So I really think Liverpool are the team, the players to captain this week. I'll be captaining Mo Salah for sure. If you've not got any attacking Liverpool players, then potentially I would say Hazard as your next best captaincy pick. I just think that Liverpool could go goals crazy in this match. They did have a tough Champions League midweek game, a big loss for them. There could be players rested. You're always going to have that risk, but pre an international break, they definitely want to bounce back with a big win going into this break. I can see all their big guns playing, if I'm honest. I have got the vice captaincy on Hazard if Salah was rested, but I can't see it myself. So, that's what I think in terms of the captaincies for this game week. Now, moving on to my squad for game week 12. I'll go through the fixtures and let you know how my squad's shaping up. So I have Foster, who has Southampton away. Then I'm playing 5 at the back, so I've got my 2 Liverpool defenders, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. There could be rotation there. There's a slight doubt over Gomez and a slight doubt over Lovren. I think I'd be pretty unlucky for Robertson and Alexander both not to play. Certainly one will, and I'll have success on my bench if one of them is rested. Can't see it. Maybe TAA, but if so, success will come off the bench, and Watford have got Southampton away, so it might be a chance for some success there. Although Deeney is back fit again, so success could drop to the bench. The rest of my back line: Alonso, great fixture, Everton at home. Mendy, Man United at home. I can see clean sheet and attacking returns from him in this game. He was rested during midweek, so I think he should start. And then Doherty away to Arsenal. Arsenal not great at the back. A little bit better against Liverpool. But Doherty's so attacking, and they did well against Spurs. So although I probably wouldn't see a clean sheet happening, I could still see maybe an attacking return there. My 3 midfielders, as discussed: Salah, captain, at home to Fulham; Camarasa at home to Brighton; and Hazard, my vice-captain, at home to Everton. Aguero starts up front, Man United at home. And then my new signing, Arnautovic, Huddersfield away. Not too many of my transfers have made big impacts in their first game week for me. Be great if he made a big impact in this game week. That would be excellent. Looking at the rest of the fixtures, we've got Cardiff at home to Brighton. Hoping Camarasa might be able to score a set piece, or he takes corners and free kicks. So there's a chance there for some attacking points for sure. West Ham away at Huddersfield. Huddersfield obviously did well against Fulham, but Fulham really are awful. West Ham a lot better opposition, and I expect West Ham to do well in that match. Leicester at home to Burnley. Did think Leicester would do well in this match, but obviously Maddison now injured, so still think there could be goals in that game, especially if you've got Vardy up front. Newcastle at home to Bournemouth. Bournemouth decent attacking. Newcastle obviously have boosted their defensive results, and it could be a tricky game there to predict that one. Still think that could be a score draw maybe. Watford away at Southampton. They'll be looking to bounce back after their Newcastle loss. Watford fancy Foster to get a clean sheet here. Southampton haven't been great going forward. Did score that penalty against Man City, but that was slightly fortuitous. A pretty just reckless challenge from Edison, the goalkeeper there. So there's definitely potential for clean sheet points. The evening game, or the late afternoon game on Saturday night, Spurs away at Crystal Palace. Palace are sort of all over the place at the moment. Managed to get some goals, but leaky at the back. Spurs very hard to sort of predict, even though they've had a great start to the season. Grounding out results, so bit of, again, hard fixture to call there. I'd probably say a Spurs away win, maybe a 2-1. Then on Sunday, got a great Super Sunday coming up. Lots of games to watch. Liverpool at home to Fulham. Can't highly rate Liverpool as much as I've already said. If somehow there was a Liverpool blank here, that would be really disappointing. But I can't see it. I can see there being goals and points galore from that match. Sorry, Fulham fans. Then Chelsea at home to Everton, looking for big results, big points and scores from Hazard and Alonso. Be nice to see Alonso maybe back on the score sheet there, but definitely looking at a clean sheet, especially if Richarlison is out. That's definitely going to boost the chances of a clean sheet for Alonso. Arsenal at home to Wolves, as I previously mentioned, could be quite a high-scoring match in that game, I think. And then the Manchester derby, Man City home to Man United. Depends how Jose comes, to how he's set up for that match. He's going to try and close down City quite a bit. Try and cut out the space, especially in front of the back four. We'll look to hit them on the counter-attack. There is a slight vulnerability to Man City in terms of counter-attack, but I think he'll kind of set up and play the way he played against Chelsea. City have just been in great form, managed to rest some players during the week, during the Champions League. They obviously won that match 5-6-0 as well. They look awesome again this season. I think City will win this one. It'd either go tight, especially if Man United play decent first 60 minutes. But if City score early goals, then that could be another route for them. So there we go. That's game week 12 fixtures, and looking for a big points haul this week. I would take around a 65, but I'm really hoping for more. I can see clean sheets and attacking points from all my defence and my midfield. Strikers. If this is a disappointing game week, then maybe my whole team structure is wrong. But I just fancy my team to score a big haul this week, and that's what I need. So I think that's where I'm going to wrap up the show. A reminder that game week 12 deadline is at 11:30 Saturday morning. So that's tomorrow if you're listening to this on your way home from work on Friday evening. That's tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. is the game week 12 deadline. Okay, so you can find me tweeting FPL Gold on the podcast Twitter account at CaptainsPickPod. Feel free to send in any questions or topics you'd like discussed on the show, especially next week. It's international break, so 2 weeks away from the Premiership. Might try and do like I did in the last international break, pick a feature and discuss that on the show rather than breaking down the game week 13 fixtures. I'll do that the week after. So let me know on Twitter if there's a topic you'd like broken down and I can go into a little bit more detail. Okay, and so from me, good luck with game week 12. And until next time, it's been my pleasure to talk with you.
Captain's Pick, the FPL Podcast.